My experiences being a woman in STEM, a Black woman in STEM. And that is very important because the percentages are still very low for Black women in STEM. And if you take my field, which is engineering, it's even lower. So growing up, I didn't see any role models of Black women who look like me in this field. And if you take a step back even further, I didn't even know what engineering was. So I had no concept of engineering or what the possibilities were. When I was growing up, I said that I wanted to be a lawyer because my mother watched a lot of law shows and I saw those women and they just looked glamorous. They wore nice clothes, they carried briefcases, and I said, okay, that's what I want to do. And they talked a lot, and I definitely talked a lot in middle school. And so that was what I said I wanted to be whenever someone asked me. And it wasn't until high school, my junior year of high school, that my teacher asked me, had I ever heard about engineering? And I told her, no, I didn't even know what it was. I had not even heard the term. Once she explained to me that engineering is just being a problem solver and using math and science as a tool to solve problems, I was all in. So I applied to college. I went to a PWI, predominantly white institution, and didn't see many Black women there studying engineering either. One of the things that was very helpful to me was joining an organization called the National Society of Black Engineers. And with that organization, I attended conferences and I got to see all of these beautiful Black engineers from all over the world. And that really gave me the support and the confidence to say, girl, you got this. You can do this. That was great. Then I go actually into work, graduate from college, start working, and I'm in the field. And I definitely feel even more loneliness and isolation because, again, I don't see many Black women in this field who look like me. So the loneliness and the isolation is there. And then also there's a bit of anger that creeps in. Just because every time I would travel with my colleagues who were older white men, I was perceived to be their assistant, their admin, right? And that was not the case. I was an engineer just like them. And in some cases, guess what? They were not even engineers. I was the engineer and they weren't. But just because of the way that I looked, it was perceived that I was not an engineer. So those were some of my feelings and my experiences, but I will tell you that I feel so confident now in my ability. I don't let anyone make assumptions about me. Well, they can make all the assumptions they want, but I don't let it affect me because I have accomplished a lot. And I know that I can do this. And that's why I am so passionate about making sure that I make other little Black and brown girls who look like me aware of all of the great opportunities that exist in this field and that they can do it. And for them to see a role model that I didn't see as a kid growing up. So that's why I'm so passionate about it and just love to share all of my experiences.
Kizzmekia Corbett is an immunologist who works for the Vaccine Research Center at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. She has a bachelor's degree in biology and sociology, is a Meyerhoff Scholar, and completed a PhD in microbiology and immunology. Dr. Corbett has 15 years of expertise studying respiratory diseases. She was the key scientist behind the COVID-19 vaccine and will become an essential part of history. Mae Carol Jemison is the first African-American woman to travel to space. Jemison grew up knowing that she wanted to study science. As a child, she watched the news about Apollo missions but was frustrated at never seeing female astronauts. After graduating from high school, Jemison attended Stanford University and received a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering. She later went to Cornell Medical School. After she saw Sally Ride become the first American woman in space, she applied to become an astronaut at NASA. Her maiden voyage into space was on the Space Shuttle Endeavour on September 12, 1992. Jemison has worked on a number of projects, and she is currently leading the 100-Year Starship Project. She is on the board of directors for a number of organizations and is also a member of the National Women's Hall of Fame. Jemison has been a role model for many young girls wishing to become astronauts. Tanya Moore is an activist for women in science. She has a bachelor's degree in mathematics, a master's in mathematical sciences from Johns Hopkins, and a PhD in biostatistics from UC Berkeley. When she was in college, Moore did not expect to become a math major, but this changed after she took a calculus class. Moore became more interested in statistics because it combines mathematics with issues she cares about, such as health and education. She is the founder and co-chair of the Infinite Possibilities Conference, which aims to promote, encourage, and support women of color interested in mathematics and statistics. Moore is also on the board of directors for Building Diversity in Science, a platform to empower students who want to pursue science-related careers.
Kimberly Bryant is the founder of Black Girls Code, a nonprofit organization that focuses on getting girls of color into coding and technology. She has held high leadership positions at biotech companies such as Merck, Genentech, and Pfizer, and her engineering background has earned her a place as one of the most influential Black women in technology. Along with being the executive director of her own nonprofit, she is part of the National Champions Board for the National Girls Collaborative Project and the National Board for the NC-WIT K-12 Alliance. She has been a speaker at numerous conferences around the country, earned many awards for her accomplishments, and continues to change the world of STEM every day. Shonda Prescott Weinstein is a queer theoretical physicist working as an assistant professor of physics and a core faculty member in women's studies at the University of New Hampshire, focusing on the intersection of feminism in science, astrophysics, and inclusive rights. She co-created the Particles for Justice movement, has been recognized as a Black scientist breaking barriers in STEM, and was awarded the American Physical Society Edward A. Boucher Award to acknowledge her contributions to physics and inclusivity. She's been featured for her achievements in the press and media, plans to release her book, and inspires women to push the boundaries of STEM and stereotypes.
Let's talk about Black history. As we are in this last week of Black history, I would just like to say that Black history is American history. And we should be talking about it more than just the month of February. It should be discussed all year round, simply because of what I just said. Black history is American history. And so that should be discussed and talked and publicized and posted on social media more than just the month of February. One of the things that, really bothers me is that people make the assumption that Black history is for only Black people. Like we're the only ones that need to know about it, which is so untrue. As a Black woman and a Black mother, I make sure that my kids understand Black history, who they are, where they come from, and about all of the struggles as well as the accomplishments that we have had as Black people. But when I converse with other groups of people, it seems as though they don't have the same amount of knowledge about that. And I think that that's a shame. And I think that it is a shame that there are actually some states that have actually banned teaching Black history. I think that that is a shame because, again, Black history is American history. And it is imperative for other groups of people to understand the history so that when you go to college or you start working in industry, people do not look at you funny like they can't believe that you're there. How did you get into Harvard? How did you become a doctor? How did you become an engineer? And if you think that these things are not said now in this present day, you are mistaken. If we teach everyone about Black history, then I feel like those sort of questions will be asked a lot less and then not at all. Because people all people need to know that Black people are more than just slavery. We came from kings and queens in Africa before we were brought to this country against our will in chains. Not only that, once we got here, we made something out of nothing. We were given crumbs and scraps and what was at the bottom of the barrel, and we turned it into extraordinary things. We learned to read and write. We became very educated to the point where we have finally, it's about time, had our first Black president, and now our Madame Vice President in the White House. And so it's important for people to understand that Black people can do that. And it's more than just a few of us out here who can do it. And I think that's the other assumption people make. So this is all of the reasons why I feel that Black history should be celebrated all year round, and not only just given the month of February. Black history is American history.